Today's Perfights episode is brought to you by our exclusive sponsor, Flood.io. Whether you need to load test a single URL, simulate realistic user scenarios with JMeter, or execute extremely large concurrency and volumes with Gatling, Flood.io provides a simple and affordable platform for everyone. For more information, visit their website at flood.io.
It's time for Perf Bites.
What the is Perf Bites? The fourth square meal of the day.
Don't bogart the Perf Bites.
Fuck waffles. Add nutritional value to your brain.
Perf Bites. Whatever.
Hello, everybody. This is your good old friend, Señor Performo, Leandro Melendez. I am sure that you were expecting our good old friend Mark, but since I had the opportunity to be at the Tricentis Accelerate conference 2019, celebrated in Vienna, Austria, well, I took the advantage of being there. I met our good old friend, everybody's good old friends, right? I better refer to them as amigos, which is better. I met my amigo, Henrik Rexed, who helped me a little bit to walk around the hallways and places in the conference to look for people, to get some questions, some interrogations, and to have some fun and try to gather some information that might be valuable, enjoyable, or that you might get something out of it and learn something from the conference. So, in essence, what we were doing was just running around the conference trying to locate people who had some knowledge about performance testing or had something valuable or that they really wanted to share regarding our topic, but as well to tell a little bit about the conference. So, with not much else, welcome to the special episode hosted by me about the Tricentis Accelerate 2019 conference in Vienna, Austria, with my special co-host, Henrik Rexed. I hope that you enjoy our running around all over the place. Hello, this is Leandro, aka your friend Señor Performo, here at the Tricentis Accelerate 2019 conference, and I had a chance to walk into my good friend, el amigo Henrik Rexed, and we're right now together ready to share some of our experiences. I just got off of the stage. I was told, hopefully, that it was a good presentation. And let's see, amigo Henrik, how are you?
I'm pretty well. I'm excited to see you here in Europe. It changed from doing remote sessions and podcasts, so it's always a pleasure to see you physically here.
Awesome. Yeah, it's very good to have the chance to be sharing on this side of the world together with you. I love it. And to be together here, having this experience at this conference and learning what are the new trends, what are you as well, amigo, bringing new to the world of performance and to everywhere, everyone, and everything that we can. So, what can you share with us? What did you learn? What experiences? What do you think of the conference?
I think so. It's the Tricentis conference, obviously, and I think there is a lot of great news that has been announced. I think, for those who's been using Tricentis, Tosca, or other product, I think that it's going to be a very excited announcements in the next week. There are a few products. I'm pretty excited on the Neo product. I don't know, Leandro, have you heard about it? I think it's going to be changing the way people is automating, and especially detecting those controls, because it's mainly for functional automation here I'm referring to. And also I think there is other nice features like live compare and data Tricentis analytics. So there is a lot of great stuff from my perspective.
I'm very surprised. I don't understand very well why you look to be so excited about this Neo something product, but it's cool. It sounds like I see some future on it. It's going to do well, especially judging by the excitement that you show. But what other things? What other did you learn? Did you see? What else can you share with the audience regarding this conference?
I think for me, obviously, regarding the number of attendees that has show up here this year at this conference, I think it's one of the biggest testing events for automation, for functional, and obviously for those who are listening and more interested in performance, there's also great news about performance. So for those who've never been in a Tricentis Accelerate, I would definitely recommend to at least come once, because I think it would change the way you see things. Your life will be changed. You'll see that the yellow stuff in the sky. You will see it more often, and you will see also the unicorns running in the fields. So,
wow, you're really selling it in a very good way. You got me at unicorns. That was the the selling point. It's awesome. I have to agree. It changes many of the perspectives, to learn what is coming up, to be able to talk with the people that are bringing this change, included you, my friend. And it's an awesome experience. As you said, I haven't seen any unicorns yet. I am going to be waiting for. But it has been a lot of fun, very interesting interview. But as you said, it's not only around functional, only around just automation. There are many friends in the area of performance that, as well as I walked into you and was able to meet you, that I'm sure that are around here. So what I would propose is, how about we walk around, start to look for people that might be interested, well-versed in the topic, and bring some more information to our Perf friends. What do you think?
I think it's a great idea. I mean, let's share the experience of the conference, a live experience, in fact, from the conference.
Yeah, well, no, it's not live, but I'm going to record and edit this, friends. But it's like you are here. You can hear all the noise, you can hear all the people, and let's go and chase some people. I'm going to pause this recording, and let's see who else we can find. Deal?
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's go and do it. Okay, amigos, the first person that we walked into is our very good friend Ivan Vanderville. I hope I'm saying the name. Vanderville? Yeah, that's pronunciation. Our friend Ivan Vanderville is part of the flood team, part of Tricentis. I will let him introduce himself. What can you tell us about you, your company, what you're working on? Just a few quick introduction for the ones that do not know about you.
Yeah, so hi, my name's Ivan, and also one of the co-founders of Flood. And I guess to highlight what we've been working on lately, the two biggest things we've brought out is obviously real browser load testing with Flood Element, and we've just launched Flood Agent, which is our on-premise, on any hybrid cloud, run anywhere agent for doing turning your internet for a refrigerator or whatever you want into a load generator.
Cool.
And that's kind of what we've been talking to everyone about today, and we've had a really good feedback and really good interest.
I personally had the chance to be on your presentation and the earlier one when you started to detail all what was being done. But what do you think, Henrik?
First of all, I just have to mention that the new load generator or agents that Flood is providing is also Dockerized compatible. For those who wants to deploy it on Kubernetes clusters as well, it's compatible. So it's pretty awesome announcement. I really like the reference that you made on a cricket game. This was a great story. So I think you need to share it with our performance community for sure.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and personally, I'm interested. How do I run it on the refrigerator?
Well, I mean, everything these days has a dual-core processor and 8 gigs of RAM running, and even if it's your internet-connected toaster or something, I don't know. But seriously, we built the Flood agent. It's all built in Go, so we can compile it to run on anything. It has no dependencies. You can optionally run all the load generators in Docker, using Docker to run the agent. It's up to you. Or if you're running it on bare metal, that works as well. We've got a demo right behind us of it running on Windows. I've got it running on my laptop. It's Mac. Yeah.
Well, to take you up to your word, I think it would be awesome if you show it on a refrigerator. you really make a point on that.
Have you got an internet refrigerator?
Well, I have a friend that has the Alexa one that you can order from it. It'll be awesome.
Hey, that would be a good story. We could get an Alexa-based load generator.
Refrigerator, something. I don't know.
I hope she doesn't talk too much when you learn test. That's the only thing.
Ouch. Yeah, but it's awesome. And to tell our audience about also this conference, these presentations. What did you take out of them? What did you enjoy the most?
My highlights for the conference so far. You know, I haven't had a chance to see. I saw your talk, dude. Your slides are really pro. I gotta learn some tips from you. That was really good.
Thank you very much.
Otherwise, I actually haven't had a chance to even see any of the other talks. We've been here like since 11 o'clock talking back to back. It's now 5 o'clock, I think. So it's been a busy day.
Is that like an indirect that you're talking already too much and get away from me?
No. The only thing between this conversation is the beer. So
I can understand that urgency.
I'm joking,
but it's it's awesome. I don't know, anything else that you would like to tell the people before we let you prepare for the beer later today?
Yeah, I mean,
it's
seriously,
only day one.
Browser-based load testing, I think, is going to be the future, and we really invite everyone to try out Flood Element, element.flood.io. It's a real game changer in terms of load testing because you don't have to worry about what's happening on the network. There's no correlation to do anymore. You're interacting with an application just like your real users would be doing so. And it allows us to look at a lot more metrics than just what's happening on the wire. So we've now got, your render time on the client, contentful paint times, how long does it take to load different assets, and we can incorporate that in the full picture of what's happening in your performance.
Yeah, and go on.
And tell me if I'm wrong. I think it was an open source project that you started.
Yeah, it's really impressive and important. Those areas that have been neglected for several years that I have had the experience of doing performance testing, that without the browser simulation, you miss on the web performance part, and many are unaware that that is not being taken care of.
And I mean, on top of that, these days, so many applications are, what we call single-page applications. So there's just no way to correlate the amount of business logic that goes on in the browser now or at the network layer. So even doing any sort of, capture and replay, you're losing so much of the picture. So we don't have that issue with browser-based. We can run a React application or any complex client-side application and run it as a load test, no problems.
And so, a small question from my end are you able to do some sort of drill down on the time spent on the browser? Why is it loading so slow? Or things that could help people to understand why, if you're spending a lot of time on the browser level and not on the server level, maybe you're providing some metrics that could be very helpful for the performance.
So that's definitely something we need to expand on a lot further, especially at the network layer, because we've got the entire network graph from what Chrome has loaded. The next step for us is to incorporate, we've identified that across these test runs, this particular resource was slow, whether it's an API or maybe it's loading JavaScript to run your application or images and so forth, which have an impact on the eventual time it takes to render the page. But sadly, right now, we're pretty much limited to what you get out of the Chrome profiler, which is what you're pretty much familiar with, like with Lighthouse performance testing. So we take those metrics at runtime, sample it, and send that back to Flood. So you get that kind of cross-section of, the timeline of loading the page was, the load event fired, the first paint fired, the largest contentful paint fired, the render was complete, and then all assets were completed loading. So you've got those 5 metrics to look for, and we can kind of overlay that from a performance perspective. And then from there, under load, you can see what impact that's really happening for your users. Which was what I was trying to bring home this morning in the presentation was, you've got 3 seconds to impress people, 3 seconds to load the page, or they switch to another tab, they start looking at Facebook, who knows what happens. And that 3 seconds is not very long when you're loading a powerful application.
Yeah, I think from what you're saying as well, I know that we have hammered for so long the server side, and to get a tool that allows us to start to understand those, what was the name, the white page of death, when it's the style sheet is at the bottom and it's not loading and you cannot see very well.
This is a reference to Mark Tillemson, I think, no?
Yeah. I mean, I've recently been a convert to this type of performance side, and I can't deny it. But it's great to hear that we are getting so many tools that are going to be able to tell us this type of performance, not bottlenecks, but performance issues.
And I think we mentioned it yesterday, we were discussing about it. I think it makes sense as well. Sometimes people focus on the API side and the design workflows, and if you don't capture or if you don't have any real browser somewhere and you don't able to discover that, for example, there's a clunky JavaScript that generates 20 more times API calls than expected, I think it's going to be dangerous for production. So having that, I think, is a way very important to secure your deployment.
Yeah, adding that capability, I think it's going to be great to have it. And I don't know, any last words before we let you prepare for the beer?
Guys, it's been great talking to you. And for everyone listening, Flight Element is open source, so please check it out. And you can find us on GitHub. And
well, now that you mention, any way for our audience to contact you? Where can they find you? Or
Twitter's probably the best. At iVanderbilt on Twitter or at flood_IO.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So anyone, if you have more questions for our friend Ivan,
please reach out.
Please reach out. And well, thank you very much. And we will let you prepare for the beer later today.
All right, guys.
And this first day, probably, I will come back tomorrow to hunt you a little bit more.
All right, happy to talk. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, man. Okay, here we are as well. We found one of Henrik's friends. We're meeting our friend Matthias Rasking. I hope I'm saying the
perfect.
No, okay. It's not that bad. So, how are you? How is your experience being at this Accelerate event?
Well, I've been here for many years already. It's grown tremendously, and what I like is that they grow in topics as well. Yeah, so it used to be very, very focused on how do you automate stuff. That's still a topic, but now we talk about automating not only testing, we talk about automating business operations, we talk about automating reporting, performance monitoring, testing and performance, and things like that. So I like the broad range of ideas that you get here, and obviously all the great networking.
Awesome. And well, being that this show is related to performance testing, what topics do you think that you heard that were more transcendent, interesting, or valuable of sharing?
Well, answer one, I'd like to hear a lot more. Yeah, there's not enough performance so far. Yeah, so I haven't heard that much today that really interested me. One topic was the performance of robots. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was very interesting to see how do you orchestrate all those robots and how do you make sure they actually run in a virtual world. Because the one guy was saying, we can't run our robots in the morning because that's when the company is working mostly, and then the mainframe performance goes down. So the solution is run the robots in the afternoon. No, the solution should be improve the performance of the robots so that they don't interfere with the mainframe performance. So, we're at a very early stage, I think, in robots to understand, okay, we have a lot of mainframe stuff and a lot of robots that obviously are a lot faster than humans. So what do we do? And I think the solution to just run it at another time is a bit too simple.
So are you saying that from the moment you start implementing RPA, there is a notion of making sure that the system is reacting well and performed well, because there is a big chance that RPA could bring performance issues indirectly?
That's what this one insurance company found. Yeah, they said we couldn't schedule them in the early hours, let's say 9 to 12, and most of people are there. Yeah, they saw degradation in mainframe performance, as simple as that. Yeah, too much CPU, not in the database issues, and so on. So typical issues that you see with users, but from a different angle. Yeah, and so, that's definitely something to check out. Yeah, and is it something we can do differently there?
So do you recommend that the robots should complain about performance?
Well, the users will do all the complaining, that's simple, but robots should have more intelligent in there. They should check, what's the performance like today and when do I actually automatically schedule it at a different date. An insurance company, doesn't really matter whether you process an insurance claim in the morning, at noon, or at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, because the batch to process everything is at night anyway. Yeah, so it would be nice to have, some linked performance monitoring for the robots orchestrator to say, well, don't run it right now, which means the user can schedule it anyway, but then there's some intelligence that says, well, let's do it a little bit later. Yeah, so that would be nice. And those are the ideas I'm missing. Yeah, it's. I'm sure you will have the ideas tomorrow, and you will pitch it as an offering on Friday. Yeah, but that's how we go.
Well, it's very interesting the approach that you're saying. It goes in line a little bit with what I talked about to try to test smarter, to do the things in a different way, that you're optimizing the robots. Maybe they are not running all out at the same time, but they are gathering metrics. You are measuring everything, and not just being caged on only that scenario that I just need to do a load test for them, and that's the only time. I think that's a very good input on how things should be happening. Incredible comments.
I think we didn't mention much about live compare. I like the feature detecting what has been impacted in which scenarios. This is for automation mainly, but I was once they presented that, I said, how can we make that? They say let's hook up on the static code analysis and figure out if there is any changes. And that will be quite tricky to figure out the impact on your potential performance testing scenarios, because I think it's super smart to have that type of systems that helps to point out, your load test will fail because you need to maintain them. That will be really efficient and helpful for the users.
Yeah, very very good input. Any other things that you would like to share or was interesting according to you?
Yeah, the second part was really in DevOps, what do I actually test at the pipeline level? Yeah, and there was a discussion that, it doesn't really make sense to test everything from a function perspective at the unit level, because you need to have some integration as well. And this notion of automating everything is maybe not the right thing for every client. But again, what I missed there was to say, well, as much as possible, test for performance and security at the unit level, because testing for performance at an end-to-end level is crazy. Yeah, so let's do that. And that's where Henrik's idea comes in. There you can collect all the metrics in the world. You can do the static analysis, you can do your code reviews, and already push it there. Because why wait to figure out that you need to optimize the SQL query, or why wait to figure out you need to do caching? And you can do those things, you can find out those things a lot earlier. Yet they then have end-to-end issues with, a queue or something that's not performing end-to-end, fine. Yeah. But still, and that's what I'd like to get more out of the Accelerate conference, to think about, okay, this is quality as a whole, and we need to bring in all the individual components, and at which point in time do we test for what quality criteria? And then that's something that the discussions were going in that direction, but with these stupid headsets that you have, it's a little bit difficult to interject and ask a question. You need to wait for the Q&A session, so we'll see how that works next year.
It's interesting because, there are some comments or things that the presenter might say and make you want to jump at him and do something quasi-evil right away. But I totally agree that not only switching left would be to start gathering measurements, but that this holistical approach where you do everything at every step, but depending on where you need it the most, you do more coverage, less coverage, don't focus that much on end-to-end testing for load, especially because it's super heavy. But it's something that I believe it's out there in the ether, it's being talked about, but not everybody has been able to kind of assimilate those concepts and see why it is better. And it's something very good that people are starting to understand that they should not just focus on big bang load tests and end-to-end processes like only API, even unit tests. I love that recommendation that you gave to start gathering performance metrics from unit tests. It's invaluable to start to catch them.
And then we just had that discussion in the last panel discussion that, recession is coming up in some areas. And of course, if you have a big, expensive end-to-end performance test with big, expensive tools, so not Neoload, but other tools that are expensive, there you then have an issue. That's the first thing that people will cut, because they say, maybe we'll just do a delta test. Maybe we'll just check that it's not worse than before. And maybe we can, scratch it and only do 2 days of testing. But if you already implement performance testing at the unit level, you can't really scratch it. There's no point in it because it's automated anyway. And then you use, at that level already tools, and you already collect the metrics, so you can say, now it makes sense to scratch it. We don't need it because we don't see a degradation there. So that's the thing where the industry needs to go to, and that's why we need Henrik to push that message and sell more.
I mean, I can push that message as well.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. But it's invaluable. I really think that it's something that in the performance testing area has to sink as soon as possible. It's been out there for a while, and many addicted to just script might think that that's the only way. And if you start to filter problems early, you combed your code from performance bottlenecks. In the end, you don't have to comb everything again and look for it.
Or even if you don't have the script, if one single user with your single finger click is the performance is bad, it doesn't make sense to start scripting. Maybe there's already a problem that you should resolve.
Yeah, that's don't work more, neither faster. Just make sure that you work when it's needed.
Or smarter.
Thank you. Yeah. Very, very, very good comments, very good observations, and I think that the audience will get a lot from what you got from those presentations and digested for us. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And I don't know if anyone wants to send you questions. Do you want to receive them?
Of course.
Do a little self-promotion, Twitter, networks. Where are you?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Xing, I'm on Twitter, anywhere. Just search for Rasking is my last name, Rasking. Yeah, there's only one out there. That makes it simple. I do work for Tricentis, which is a Swiss firm. I joined them after quite a while working as one of Henrik's partners. But yeah, now interact with me. I'm mostly in the automation space and the agile space, but I love these challenges. I want to see where can we push the industry to think a little bit further. So yeah, more than happy to entertain questions and to have a discussion on these without selling stuff. With that, I'm very close to Henrik. We're not the sales guys. Yeah, we're the guys with the brains who figure out solutions. If they then happen to come from our companies, we're happy.
Yeah, in the end, it's to help the world of performance to improve.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. If anyone wants to get in touch, there's information how to reach out. Matthias, thank you very much. And this is day one, so let's see if we hear more interesting stuff to share tomorrow.
Will do. Yeah, great.
Awesome. Thank you, Matthias. Well, we're now with another friend, Frank Jara.
Yes.
Did I pronounce it well?
Perfect.
Of course not, not French. But we had a chance to meet you. What do you think of the conference here at the Tricentis Accelerate? First day, what has been your opinions? Have you enjoyed the day? And tell us as well, I went too far, about you a little bit first. What about Frank?
Frank is a performance engineer working for IT Core in France. So I'm doing mostly a lot of performance testing with Neotis, Neoload, and also using APM Dynatrace. I'm also doing some testing with SoapUI and Service V for the API applications. And today it was very nice because for the first time I could see the RPA solution of Tricentis. And right now, where you just caught me, we are close to the test project stand where they are proposing some great solution to be some kind of competitor to Catalan, where you can directly include your script from I forgot, you see. It was a long day. From Selenium, exactly, from Selenium. And it's easy to use, very fast. It's a web-based cloud platform only, and I think it's very good and very promising for the future. This solution.
At least to give it a try.
Yes.
Yeah. That's very good. Tool analysis. I like what you are doing or what you talked about. And but also I would like to have your impression if you had a chance to attend of any of the presentations that happened. Which ones did you like? Would you recommend? Or what did you get from this conference today?
I was already here yesterday for the partner event, so I could see already some of the nice Neo new intelligence artificial coming. So this is very nice. I mean, some of the presentation today were a bit redundant to the information of yesterday, but we could go more deep into the information, like the RPA demonstration. You have a nice stand where you can try and to make your first RPA script. So it's very nice, very easy. There is a little challenge.
Yeah.
And but I think it was very interesting. A nice event for the moment, and I think tomorrow it will be even more interesting. I'm when you will be performing.
Oh, my presentation?
Yes.
It was already earlier today.
Yeah, it was today?
Yeah.
You told me it was...
Yeah.
You missed some awesome slides. I mean, the Leandro slides, style.
Yeah, it's a particular style. It was a little bit... I tried to make it fun. So I don't think you'll see another presentation that style.
I saw your presentation at the Pac-Man.
Really?
Yes, I saw. It was very nice.
It is more or less like that?
It was a bit funny too.
Yeah, so, if you were not scandalized by those ones, then probably you would have liked this one.
Not too bad.
But, any last thoughts before we close it?
Me, I'm more a performance engineer, so here a lot of aspect is for functional testing, automation. Some are very nice, but for me, I wanted to see more about like flood, what we can do, and I will say it's still missing stuff to be a great tool, flood. Like integration with Dynatrace to get monitoring directly coming inside of the tool. For the moment, you can just push information to Dynatrace or to Neuralink, for example.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned, if you get to listen to this episode earlier today, we got to talk to Ivan, who gave us a little bit of information about the news with Flood. So I guess that you won't be disappointed and you will get eventually what you were looking for as information from this conference. So look forward to it.
Okay.
And anything you would like to add? Any of you?
I think, obviously there is a lack of track on performance. I think for people that is a customer or friends of Tricentis, you usually do more automation, so I'm not surprised about it, but I think having more track for performance, that would make sense also for the audience. So I think that's the only recommendation I would say for next year. Please push back more performance track.
Yeah, that's exactly the point. Tricentis want to be a software where you can do all the scope of testing. But for me today, it was like 80% of RPA, a bit of artificial intelligence, and
1% performance.
And I still want a bit of performance.
I think we all want on this show, especially. But I think also the approach is to have it only in one tool or get support from other tools from other areas. It's also important. So, I want to thank you very much for giving your opinions, what you think, and sharing with the audience.
You're welcome.
Last and quickly, do you want or have any way for people to get in touch with you?
They can contact me on LinkedIn if they want, no problem.
I'm going to spell it because it's Frank, that's normal. Jarre, I don't know. Jarre, Jarre. So everybody, if you want to get in touch with Frank, you can find them on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, yes.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Frank.
Thank you.
Okay.
And that was the first day of the Accelerate conference. As we couldn't find more people during that day, like our friend Ivan mentioned, everybody was rushing for beer. We had to wait until the second day of the conference when we kept finding more friends to talk to about performance testing, of course. So now the next friend is...
Hi everybody, and welcome to day number 2 of the Tricentis Conference Accelerate 2019. I am again walking around without my friend Henrik. Henrik is busy right now preparing his conference, but I had a chance to walk into one of my Latino brothers, Mr. Leonardo Mantovan. Okay. Thank you very much, Leonardo, for accepting this interview and to share with our audience what is your experience on this conference for Tricentis Accelerate. But before we go further, why don't you tell us a little bit about you? What are you doing here? Why am I chasing you to get an interview? Tell us a little bit about you.
Hello, Leandro, and thank you very much for accepting me in this interview. I'm Leonardo. I'm from Argentina, and I'm here in Vienna in the Tricentis Accelerate 2019. And I have been around performance testing for about 3.5 years, and I was always passionate about testing tools, every testing tools for automation, and then I learned about performance, the theory behind it, and then learn how to use the tools specifically. And when my actual company, made a partnership with Tricentis, we learned about Tosca and then about Flood, and we saw that Flood makes performance testing using Tosca scripts. So we already loved Tosca, making script with it, and we thought that was a great idea. So being here is really amazing. We have been to many conferences and talks about everything about automation, performance, testing in general, and they are really ahead of every other company about this and the testing environment itself, and they are innovating in every area of both systems testing and even consulting. So really interesting conference, really ahead of everything else, and you can learn all the new stuff here. And I think all the latest technologies, the latest updates on tools. So really glad to be here from Latin America. That's something amazing, something that I still can't believe it. So thank you very much for trying to interview me.
And it's great on one hand, as I was saying, to have a representative of the Latin America community around here. It's not common to find people from our side of the pond. And I'm a little bit surprised. I didn't know that Tricentis had presence in Argentina and that they were partners with your company and that you had an opportunity to deliver projects through their tool. Are you having a lot of projects and expansion and things through Tricentis' tools over there?
We are the first partners of Tricentis in Argentina. Yeah. I think the second or third in Latin America, without mentioning Mexico, because for Tricentis it's like North America and South America, and I think Mexico is in North America.
Well, it's a little note, for some of the world, we in Mexico are part of North America. That feels odd to me to hear that as well, but that's true.
Well, but in the rest, we are the first in Argentina and like the second one on the really South America.
That's really cool. That's awesome. It got me by surprise, I have to admit. And getting back to the point, I love that you're here. I love that we have more Latino brothers joining this type of events. Tell me, what are you already mentioned a little bit, but what are you getting most of these events? What are you enjoying the most? What experiences? Not only learning, but living experiences. What can you tell to our audience about this conference?
The most exciting experience about being here is sharing with another companies, sharing with another partners, and sharing our experience in this matter, because like I said previously, being one of the first partners for Tricentis in Latin America is really a differentiation from the other ones, and they are all interested in knowing how we become a partner and how are we facing projects in Latin America that is a really different environment for this kind of projects, and we're trying to standardize the process, not making everything new because of the different environment. We want to standardize the process like it's made in another countries, but with some tweaks for adapting it to our zone. But it's really a challenge, a good one, and we are learning a lot about that and sharing it here in the conference, and learning everything new that's coming up, and we are really surprised that Tricentis is updating their tools really frequently and with new stuff in every version, so we can offer our potential customers and actual customers really new stuff every month. So they are really excited. They haven't seen anything like that in Latin America, but they are obviously using international tools already, but they haven't seen anything like that even with international tools. So it's really different.
It's great. It sounds like you're expanding your horizons and blowing your mind. It's something that happens to me every time that I come to a conference, and you find out like you are doing things this way, or this is better this way, or things that you have not may have not even thought about it. And I do agree with you. It's a great experience. It's incredible. I hope that you are looking forward to come to more of these conferences.
Of course. I will try to come to every Accelerate. We talk about that with my bosses, and
that is a complicated task, right?
Yeah. But
I hope that I will see you often here then.
Yeah.
To turn it around a little bit, this you're on the Perf Bytes show. And speaking of performance, what have you seen? What are your opinions? What can you share with the audience regarding performance that you have noticed here, or that you are going to bring back home, or that you would like people to know?
Well, in our country and many others, there are another tools that are very used, and we okay but those tools are like the standard tools, and we find out with Tosca and Flood from Tricentis that first we love Tosca. So here in the conference, seeing the transition from Tosca to Flood and making scripts for performance in the way Tosca makes scripts is really pushing ourselves to spread this in our country, because we think it's a really better way for making scripts, and it's not very commonly known. Also, it's not really known that there's a better way, an easy way to make this kind of scripts, and it's really standardized in our country and so on. The other way of making, the old way of making scripts, and here in the conference we have seen how Tosca can make really easy scripts, really fast scripts, and then use Flood to make performance testing in an amazing amount of time, really quick, and that's nothing like the other tools. So we are bringing home everything new about Flood, about Tosca, about the old environment from Tricentis that regards to performance, and we want to share this with every customer, every partner of ours, every people that is interested in doing load testing or performance testing.
Find some other approaches.
Yeah, try something new, something different, because in this matter there are many tools and it's really a standard. So we want to change that. We want to start thinking differently.
Analyzing some of the other opportunities. It's something that other people that we have had the chance to interview had agreed on, that these new capabilities of using Tosca and their browser simulation gives us the opportunity to measure some of the web performance metrics that were not available before. And as you mentioned, it eases up a little bit the process. Although it's not the only tool that you should use, but it adds more protection or more testing capabilities to your belt. It's an awesome observations. But to let you go, because I know you are soon to get a flight and get on your way home. I hope you're not as jet lagged as I am. But
why don't you tell our audience how to reach you if someone wants to ask you something or get some help or just say hi? Where can they find you?
Well, I work in my company's. My company name is Q Action.
QA Action. You have a free commercial ad here, don't worry.
We are from Q Actions, and we are a small company, but we specialize only in testing, manual, functional, and all the technical testings. And we are also the only company in Argentina that specializes in testing. There are the other ones do all kinds of system tasks.
But are you reachable social networks?
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, even in the Q Actions web, qactions.com. I'm Leonardo Mantovan in Spanish, so you can find me almost in every social network.
Awesome. So everybody, here's the information. You can look up for Leonardo Mantovan in, did I understand well, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. He's all over the place. Most probably he has even a YouTube channel or something like that. No.
Not yet. No.
One day, hopefully.
One day, yeah.
Okay. Last, to say goodbye and close up with the golden seal, as we say in Spanish. Here's an opportunity to say something in Spanish, please, to our Latin America listeners or people that understand Spanish, because I know the Perfect Show has a wide audience of people very knowledgeable in several languages. What would you like to say to the audience? You can bring up the Spanish, short, quick phrase. What would you say if you had a sign?
Bueno, lo que le podría decir a la gente latinoamericana es hagan todo lo que les guste acerca de sistemas, y si les interesa testing, no dejen de revisar todo lo que tiene que ver con las pruebas técnicas, tanto automatización, performance, seguridad, todo es realmente apasionante. Y lo que tiene que ver con performance parte desde lo que es IT, desde lo que es microservicios, toda la parte técnica, y le suma la parte de testing, o sea, pueden integrar un montón en esta área. Es realmente interesante y nada, pueden llegar a lugares como Vienna, pueden llegar a viajar, a experimentar cosas increíbles, porque la verdad que el tema va mucho más allá de cada país, es una integración mundial.
Okay. Thank you very much, Leonardo, for the English speakers that did not understand. He was telling everybody, because I think this is a very valuable message in English as well. Open your eyes, open your mind to technical, to grow, to understand these all these attitudes can take you far as Vienna, where we are, happily having this interview. I want to thank you very much, Leonardo, for taking the time and telling our audience what about this conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Leandro.
Okay. Well, let's find someone else that we can interview, and I will keep wandering on this place and reporting. Leandro out for now. And that was it for the rest of the conference. Sadly, everything got a little bit crazier. We got entertained. There were many people and things happening. So we didn't get much of a chance to talk to anybody else about the conference. But just to close it, I had a chance to say goodbye to my friend Henrik. So let's hear a little bit how that ending story went. Well, we are about to be done with this trip and this adventure that has been the Tricentis Accelerate 2019. At least I have one of our friends about to leave, our good amigo Henrik. I'm sorry I'm holding you a little bit longer. I hope you don't miss your flight for sticking up a little bit longer.
No, I think I'm going to try to load test the security gates at Vienna airport. I hope there's too much buffering, otherwise there's going to be too much concurrent sessions and there's going to be some stress and probably a bottleneck somewhere. I don't know. We'll figure out.
Yeah, I think you'd better get running, because otherwise you're trusting too much on the response time for the security lines and everything at the airport, where you should not trust those type of things. Henrik, I want to thank you so much to have helped me guided me a little bit and helped me to chase and catch some of the people that we got the opportunity in the show. I look forward to the next adventure. What is up next for you?
Next, I think that we will see each other at Perform, I guess. Otherwise, stay tuned. And soon will be a small webinar with Andreas Grabner, Andy, on Captain. So if you want to learn more about the Captain framework and how to utilize it with load testing, there will be a webinar in December on that topic. So stay tuned on the social networks. We will promote the event soon.
Awesome. So I promise to not to say so much awesome, but awesome. Okay, Henrik, thank you very much, my dear amigo. I really look forward to the next adventure, and I will be seeing you soon, hopefully, and share some new words soon as you can about the new PAC.
Yep.
I'm so excited about that. Okay, take care, amigo. Safe travels, and see you soon.
Yeah, thanks. See you, bye.
Adios. And well, amigos, that was pretty much all the adventure and the people that we had the opportunity to interview. I hope that you enjoyed all these talks and all the knowledge that was shared. I also would like to add some couple of comments, personal comments, if I might say so. I had the learning experience that I should never ever turn off the recorder, because several interesting and transcendent talks happened after we hit stop on the microphone. So I promise from now on any conference, I will never ever hit stop on the microphone, keep it up, and just let people talk. Actually, I noticed that is when the best things happen and the best conversations flow. So I will try to do that, because some of the topics that happen, speaking of flood and some of the capabilities that they had, browser-based simulation, load testing through browser simulations, is that some topic that is very much in vogue these days, talking about Disney Plus, which for the ones that were not aware of, the flood solution provided some help earlier on a cricket tournament that was broadcasted through the internet to several places in, I think it was New Zealand, around Australia. And that gave a big opportunity to the teams to load test the solution for this type of scenarios, which rings a bell very much to what happened to Disney Plus. I know that there were many other problems that arose with those guys, user registration, sudden user login, and processes that were not taken into account. But this tool provides several possibilities on how to tackle this type of challenges that having a browser simulating the streaming of the program, well, might give some opportunities to stress test and have some early ideas on how to do it and how to avoid having these embarrassments to the house of the mouse. I was very excited to start looking at Avengers, and I couldn't because the service was having hiccups and issues, performance issues. So much time that we have been around, and this still happens. Well, some of the talks and conversations that went through is that through the help of the Flood friends, this could have been avoided. So just to close up, give a little bit of short version of what was being said on the conversations that happened off the microphone. That is it. I want to thank you, everybody, to the ones that are not used to having me here hosting the show. I look forward to have Mark again talking about and having his sweet, low voice speaking to everybody. But this time it's me. I hope you enjoyed the show. I look forward to being able to host more shows. And if you want to hear more about my voice speaking in Spanish, talking about tacos and performance, I invite you to the Perf Bites Español show. Of course, if you can understand the Spanish language. Thank you very much. Gracias, amigos. And I hope to hear you soon. Leandro out. Bye. Adios.
Whatever.